Hello guys and girls, welcome back to yet another TryHard Diablo 3 class guide. So we're going to be covering the Demon Hunter. We'll be going over the changes of 1.0.4, a couple specs, and how to play with the Vault spec as well. So let's get started with the two specs. Now the way I'm doing this guide today is I'm going to show you two specs. They're not the only specs in the game, obviously, and these are completely adjustable to suit your own playstyle. So the first spec I'm going to show you is when you're gearing up your Demon Hunter. Maybe you don't have any, really low DPS, your resistances are low, hit points. This is the safest spec to play with that will keep you alive with low resistance hit points. So first thing we're going to go over is the primary. Just a standard hungering arrow. This kind of homes in on the enemy. Really high damage. It's overall, I'd say the best primary. It's my favorite primary at least. With the runes, if your crit chance is below 40% crit, you're going to want to use Devouring Arrow. So each consecutive arrow pierces, or each consecutive pierce does 70% extra damage, so it stacks quite high once it pierces a few times. And then the second rune you can use is Spray of Teeth. If you're above 40% crit chance, you want to use this. And whenever you crit, it does 50% damage in an AoE area, which is really juicy. Like if you proc a few of those in a row, it does crazy damage. Now, in terms of primary, actually swapping your primary skill, I found if you're not using Caltrops, which you are in this build anyways, you can swap it out if you want. Use Chain Gang, which actually chains up to 4 targets, and this will actually slow 4 targets really well. The slow is really effective, so that's pretty good. If you're not using Entangling Shot, Bola Shot's okay. The only problem with Bola Shot is it takes 1 second to proc. Meaning, if you want to kill trash really quick and just like instantly, you have to wait a second before it procs, so it can cause some sticky situations with trash. If you are going to use Ball of Shot though, the improved radius to 14 yards is amazing. Other than that, everything else is reasonable. That one, I mean, if you don't mind waiting, it does way more damage, 216% damage. But you have to wait 2 seconds. So again, the rest of the primaries aren't great. I'd stick to Hungering Arrow, but the rest are okay. I've yet to really use grenades. I tested them for a bit. I don't like them, so it's up to you guys though. Okay, so your secondary, this can be altered as well. So Elemental Arrow is my favorite with Ball Lightning, just kind of really low hatred, does really high damage, moves slowly, sometimes hits enemies twice it looks like. And overall, I'd say it's the best secondary. Now my favorite one, while leveling and while testing, it was actually really fun as well. Twin Chakrams on Chakram is, since the damage is buffed to 1.0.4, it's actually really nice. The only problem is it clips walls a lot and you kind of lose the actual damage, and then if you're not positioned correctly, it actually skips over enemies sometimes as well. But Chakram's really good. The rest are okay. Impale, I wouldn't recommend using as your main kind of hatred spender, mainly because it doesn't go through enemies unless you use there is one, over penetration, but still, I'd say Elemental Arrow is better for the hatred cost. And then Rapid Fire is okay, but it doesn't really go through enemies, so it's not great. You want something that goes through enemies. It's awesome for bosses and elite packs, so it shreds through them. So yeah, Hungering Arrow, Elemental Arrow, and then on your action bar skills, these are adjustable as well. Preparation with Backup Plan, obviously that's just gives your discipline back, and then 30% chance to reset the cooldown, which you can proc a few times in a row. Leading to really good DPS. And survival. Well, survival with this build, sorry. Caltrops, Torturous Ground, or sorry. Yeah, Torturous Ground. I was saying Treacherous Ground last, is it Treacherous? Torturous. Torturous Ground. 2-second immobilization when they actually go in the area of the trap, which is really nice. Other than that, Smoke Screen. This can be swapped again, but that's more to do with the other build when you have more defensive kind of resistances and things. Use Shadow Power, but yeah, Smoke Screen with Lingering Fog, 1.5 seconds duration, and that's really good. Just makes you immune to everything. Gets you out of slows, gets you out of traps. It pretty much covers everything to make you immune from, which is nice. And then, okay, this skill has been buffed so much since 1.04. It's unbelievably amazing. So Rain of Vengeance used to do, I think it was like, I don't know, 300% weapon damage over 5 seconds. It's 715% now. And then on Beastly Bombs, this is my favorite one. You can swap it to whatever you want. Beastly Bombs says 20 Shadow Beast dropping for 245% weapon damage. I've actually dropped this on an Elite Pack before, and it's killed the Elite Pack just with Rain of Vengeance. It's so powerful. The bombs are a bit random with Shadow Beast, but when they hit, they crit with my DPS, 70k roughly. They crit for about 250k. which is just insane. It's really, really good. I mean, that alone, you drop that in an elite pack, then drop a few elemental arrows in, that elite pack's dead. And it's on a 30-second cooldown, so it's up for every single elite pack. It's insane. The other runes are good, but personally, I think that's the highest DPS one. That appears to be highest DPS, but it actually doesn't. I swear Beastly Bombs is a bit more than Anathema. Anathema? Yeah. The other ones are good. Stampede knocks him back, but that was better when invulnerable minions were around. Other than that, everything's reasonable. So yeah, moving on to passives. You can use Night Stalker. Critical hits give you 1 discipline. Really good for survival when you're kiting and things like that. If you stutter step and shoot, you get lots of discipline back. You can pretty much just have unlimited caltrops. Steady aim, as long as there's no enemies within 10 yards, all damage is increased by 20%. And then archery, which if you're using a crossbow, you get 50% critical hit damage, which is really nice. So those 3 combined are really good. If you're going to swap it out, steady aim and archery, I'd say you definitely want to use in terms of DPS. You can swap out Night Stalker for sharpshooter if you want, but I don't find sharpshooter to be an amazing DPS increase, mainly because you're critical hitting so much. The most critical hit chance you'll see at a time is around 6%, which isn't worth bragging about. I'd say the survivability off Night Stalker is much better. So guys, that's the first spec. Completely adjustable. It's however you want it. You can change primary, secondary. You can change out smoke screen for shadow power. You can even change out caltrops for vault. But the next build I'm going to go over is a vault build, so we'll start that now. Alright, so this build is a bit similar to the first one, but it's completely different in terms of playstyle. And now before you look at this and be like, oh my god, Vault's getting nerfed to 1.0.5, it is getting nerfed to 1.0.5, but this is still going to be in a really, really good spec, and it's got a really unique playstyle. So let's go over it. Your primary and secondary can remain the same. I'd recommend using Elemental Arrow just because it is consistent AoE damage, and you do need a bit of AoE damage in this spec because you can't just rely on Vault all the time. And your primary, since I'm not recommending using caltrops this build, you can actually swap your primary out for Entangling Shot with Chain Gang, and it is effective. I have used that combined, and it actually does work out really well if you do want to slow in your build. But with Vault, you don't really need a slow. So that's primary and secondary. Okay, now with this, your preparation backup plan is really good, but since this build is so reliant on discipline, I'd actually recommend if you don't mind if you do mind relying on RNG with backup plan, you can swap out Focused Mind, which gives you guaranteed 45 seconds or 45 discipline over 15 seconds. So that's a bar and a half. Off the base bar if you don't have any plus discipline. Over 15 seconds. That guarantees you get your discipline back. Backup plan, you only have a chance to get it back. So if you're like vaulting around and trying to survive and you need to get your energy back, and that doesn't proc with backup plan, then you're kind of screwed. So Focus Mind guarantees you get that back, which is really nice. That lets you vault around and smoke screen a lot more. Or not smoke screen, shadow power. Now with defensive, I wouldn't actually recommend using smoke screen. Okay, so with this build, by the way, this is kind of relying on you having a bit of, I mean, you can go glass cannon, but it's, I'd recommend having about 200 resist all, maybe 25k health. Not necessary, you can play without it if you're amazing, but when you're vaulting in enemies, you're going to get hit. And if you smoke screen with Lingering Fog, and you vault in, you only have 1.5 seconds to vault around while getting hit. Where with Shadow Power, with Gloom, you get 3 whole seconds with 65% reduced damage while you're healing for 25% of the damage done to do damage. So you pop Gloom, Shadow Power, you're vaulting around, you can get like 3 or 4 vaults off before Shadow Power actually runs out. So I'd actually recommend using Shadow Power over Smokescreen. Sure, you can't get out of jails and things like that, but to be honest, you kill stuff so quick with this build, it doesn't even matter. And if you die, you can vault back to your body within seconds. Now this is the main thing of the build. I'm sure all of you Demon Hunters know about this. Okay, so obviously Vault makes you tumble 35 yards or whatever. Trial of Cinders, yes, it's going to be nerfed. It's insane right now. It is overpowered. 1,500 weapon damage over 3 seconds. I mean, it ticks for like 170k damage per second or something. It's kind of silly, really. You get a couple of those rolling, enemies just melt. So it does 1,500% weapon damage over 3 seconds. That is insane. You vault around a few times. Like you go back and forth like that, and enemies in that are just gonna die instantly. I kind of agree with the nerf because it is insane. So what it's getting nerfed down to is 500% weapon damage over 3 seconds, which is still going to be really good. It's still actually going to be a really good spec, and it's going to be really efficient because you're vaulting around so much. So again, archery, you pop Rain of Vengeance with Beastly Bombs and you vault around a few times, that pack is dead, no matter what your gear level. You let me know in the comment section below how you get on with that, because I can guarantee you will melt every single elite pack you come across. And this pack is really good. This spec's really good for trash as well, because you have Ball Lightning, which just shreds through trash instantly. So yeah, let me know how that goes. The only thing you're going to swap with your passives from the first build, you're going to keep Steady Aim, you're going to keep Archery. Yeah, you might argue, okay, since you're vaulting, that Steady Aim damage isn't actually going off. You'd be surprised. I did quite a bit of testing. If you're 10 yards away, because obviously when you vault around, you're not going to only vault. You're going to vault once or twice, and you're going to shoot a few elemental arrows and vault a few more times. Your elemental arrow damage gets boosted by that by quite a bit, and it's actually really good. If you have Natalia's and you're only pretty much vaulting because you have enough discipline to use it, swap out Steady Aim for whatever you want. You can swap it out for Sharpshooter. Maybe, yeah, I'd say probably just Sharpshooter. Other than that, nothing else really worth it. Maybe Night Stalker, get even more whatever, discipline. Then you could just kind of spam vault nonstop. But yeah, I'd recommend using Steady Aim still, because the damage is good. If you don't agree and you think you're not going to be 10 yards away from the enemy, which you might not be, then use Sharpshooter, because you're still getting a bit of DPS. The only thing you're really going to change in the build, though, Tactical Advantage. Whenever you vault or Smoke Screen or whatever, you get 2 seconds of 60% run speed. So this is kind of the bread and butter of the build. I mean, oops, sorry, wrong skill. Yeah, the run speed is insane. So as you can see, just crazy. So yeah, that kind of wraps it up for that spec. But overall, this is, in my opinion, the strongest spec. It's absolutely amazing. It is adjustable. You can swap out your secondary and primary. You can swap out Rain of Vengeance for whatever you want. You can swap it out if you like Cluster Arrow with maybe Cluster Bombs or Loaded for Bear. You can swap that in. Anything else is good. I was actually messing around with this for a while. It was actually kind of funny. I was using the Sentry with, where is it? This. So you kind of pop that down. And you get the tether in between you and the Sentry. And then while you vault, you get the fire as well. So like if you vault back and forth a few times, you get that tether and the vault fire. It's crazy. Like you see the damage just popping up when enemies are standing in that. But you have to rely on them standing in that. And that costs discipline as well, which is kind of annoying. But yeah, I stick with Rain of Vengeance just because it's a poppable cooldown. It's really nice to use, and it's crazy damage. We're going to move on to the playstyle for Vault right now, and I'm going to show you how to use it effectively and kind of stay alive while using it. Alright guys, so the general idea of the Vault spec is to vault through the enemy as many times as you can before you run out of discipline and before you run out of health. So the idea is, against the heavy hitting mobs, what I'd recommend is you use Shadow Power before you vault in. So as you can see here, these guys hit really hard. I Shadow Power, I vault through again, use Preparation, I keep Shadow Power up and vault until I can't use Shadow Power, not until I can't use Vault. Reason being is I don't want to actually go through these guys and put the stream through them without Shadow Power up, because I'm gonna die. If I get a hit from about 2 of those guys, I'm definitely gonna die. So as you can see here, I use the final vaults without Shadow Power because it's a single guy. That's fine, not a problem. He's not gonna kill me, and he dies. As you can see in this next clip, towards the end I actually do vaults through maybe once or twice without Shadow Power up, and you can see the difference. I mean, of course they reflect damage, but these guys hit hard. And a single mob can actually, if you're not resisted out enough, he can one-shot you. So as you can see here, I'm about to vault through the single mob. Keep in mind, this is one mob. I vault through without Shadow Power up, and he almost one-shots me there. I mean, it's crazy damage. So what I'd recommend is just don't vault through unless you have enough discipline to Shadow Power. If it's a mob that's guaranteed to hit you, if it's a mob kind of like these and it doesn't really matter, you can just vault through as many times as you want. Now, with the actual Vault spec, just because you have Vault in your bar doesn't mean you have to use it every chance you get, and it doesn't force you to play that playstyle. Sometimes it can get you in a bit more trouble than it's worth. So what I'd recommend, like here for example, like these guys hit so hard, there's 2 elite packs, I'm not just going to sit around and vault through them, I'm going to kite them kind of normal playstyle. So you can play your Demon Hunter like a normal Demon Hunter without, even if you have vaults in your build, sometimes it's actually better to. Like as you can see here, vaulting around that area actually would have been a lot more trouble than it's worth. So I'm just kind of actually kiting the mobs through, killing them off one by one, and it does work out a bit better. Because some people, like I watch them play Vault, and it's like they have to Vault because it's in their bar. Like, it's like, oh, I have to use the spell over and over because it's there. You don't really. You can play it like a normal Demon Hunter if it suits the pack. If it doesn't, then Vault around. It's up to you. Okay, we're going to go over the 1.0.4 changes and how they've affected the Demon Hunter class as a whole. If you came here for gearing and a bit more playstyle, I'm going to link you to my older video, mainly because the gearing and playstyle actually haven't really changed too much since I made that video. So I'm not going to make this video an hour long. I'm just going to give you an external link. It's up top. It's been there the whole time. So if you just go have a look at that, it's there for you. All right, so let's get into these patch notes now. Not much has changed really for Demon Hunters, other than obviously the vault change with Trial of Cinders, and you know, the Rain of Vengeance is nice as well. Other than that, not much has changed. I guess their whole idea was to make all the other kind of skills a bit more buffed, so they're a bit more, you know, we're a bit more versatile as a class as a whole. They've done a pretty good job at it. As you can see, they've increased the damage on Bola Shot, Chakram, Cluster Arrow, Entangling Shot, everything pretty much. They've just increased the damage on by about 30%, which is pretty nice. It makes everything a bit more usable. Like Bola Shot, for example, does pretty nice damage now. If it wasn't for the mechanic behind it, it would actually be a pretty damn good attack. But yeah, I don't really like the mechanic. But other than that, everything else is roughly the same. You know, it looks like Caltrops have been changed. Chakram's usable now. Cluster Arrows always being good. It's even better now. Other than that, nothing's changed too drastically. Impale is really good now. Extra bit of damage seemed to made it so much better. It crits crazy high, like 500k or something. I guess the main change was Rain of Vengeance went from 75% weapon damage over 5 seconds to 715% over 5 seconds. So it more or less went up by like times 10. Not exactly, but you know, pretty close to it. Which is just insane. The one I used, Beastly Bombs, went from 125% damage to 245% damage, so it almost doubled in damage, which is just awesome. I love the spell now. I mean, I was using it before, but that was just mainly for invulnerable ad packs to get the invulnerable minions pack backwards, but they got rid of those anyways, so yeah. So that skill's amazing now. I couldn't see anyone not using that in their build. I definitely recommend it. Other than that, rapid fire, sentry, smokescreen, none of that, you know, it's all being buffed, making it a bit more usable. Sentry's damage is more than doubled, making it actually pretty good now. Like I said, I was using it with that tether before, where it makes a tether in between you and it, and it was actually pretty good, and it was kind of fun to use, so, yeah. Smokescreen, not really been changed too much. Choking gas, haven't really messed around with that too much. Strafe, I don't really like that skill to begin with. It's not really great. Knocking you, I think, is that the one that knocks you back? Yeah, I think it is. Other than that, Vault, Trial of Cinders, 1,500 weapon damage over 3 seconds. We all know what that does and how good it is. It is a bit overpowered. Let's be honest here, guys. Come on. I mean, I'm sure you've all used it now. It's pretty insane. They're nerfing that 1.0.5 to 500% weapon damage over 3 seconds, but I personally think it will still be used and the spec will still be amazing, because 500% weapon damage over 3 seconds is really good, and if you layer a few of those down, it does crazy damage. So I would recommend, you know, still using it after the patch. That's just my theory, though. We'll see if it actually plays out like that. Other than that, I mean, Demon Hunters haven't had a huge change this patch. We haven't been showed too much love. We're kind of there with Monks, where they haven't really changed too much to make it, you know, a completely different game for us. But the changes they have made sense, and they've been okay. I mean, I'm happy with them. I'm sure you guys aren't going to complain. It's not like nothing was nerfed. Trial of Cinders is, you know, use it while you can, while it's overpowered, because it's so fun. I mean, it's still going to be just as fun afterwards, but it's hilarious right now. Like, I was fighting Diablo with it the other day, and I melted Diablo in Phase 1 with 70k DPS in about, like 10 seconds or something. I just, like, layered a few of those down, got my Rain of Vengeance down. He died instantly. So just have fun with it while you can, definitely. I'm looking forward to the 1.0.5 changes. I want to see if they're going to change the mechanics behind anything. I have a feeling they're going to change, make a few mechanical changes, hopefully, if they're focusing on classes next patch, that is. But it would be nice to see them change Bola Shot to make it a bit more, a bit better. I mean, right now, it's one of my favorite skills, but the 1 second delay makes it unbearable to use. Like, you don't want to wait a second for it to proc on trash. You just don't. It's just annoying. So I'm just looking forward to the 1.0.5 changes. But I'm sure you guys agree with me. Let me know in the section below what you think about the 1.0.4 changes, and if you're happy with them. Let me know if you're upset with them. If you didn't think the changes were enough. if you expected more out of it, pretty much. I think they're pretty good, personally. So yeah, let's move on to the conclusion of the video. I'm going to go over some of the future guides I'm going to be making, so let's get started with that. That about wraps it up for today. Just going to talk about a couple future guides I'm going to have coming out. Obviously, I'm finishing up the 1.0.4 class guides, followed by I'm going to do a melee survival guide and a ranged survival guide. They're going to be separate guides, and it's going to be general tips and tricks on how to stay alive on your characters in Inferno mode. The next guide that will be out will be the Wizard, followed by the Barbarian. They will be out in the next 2 weeks. And I have lots of Guild Wars 2 stuff coming up as well. So if that's not your thing, I'm sorry. If it is, then great. I'm going to have a Ranger guide coming out first. I'm already level 80 on that. And then I'm going to have a Basics guide coming out before that, actually, which is going to be covering all the basics in terms of like the menus and things, just for all the kind of noobs out there getting into the game. Because I know when I got into the game, I wish I had something like that, because the menus are a bit confusing, and just the whole experience getting into the game was baffling, because it was just completely different from World of Warcraft in terms of this is how it works and stuff. But yeah, back to Diablo 3. Wizard and excuse me, Wizard and Barbarian are coming out next, followed by the melee and ranged survival guides. So that's something to watch out for. There's 2 links here to 2 of my other 1.0.4 guides. So yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video if you enjoy the content. But that's it for me today, guys. I'm losing my voice here, so I'm signing out. I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.